Cubase Pro 9 saw the introduction of a highly requested and sought-after feature, a sampler. In this video, we're going to take a quick look at the sampler track and look at how you can quickly manipulate samples to fit in with your project. Up the top, I've got an instance of the sampler track, and it's got some MIDI data, and that's basically a repetitive MIDI hook, and we're going to use this to trigger samples. Integration in Cubase is superb, and you can drag audio from the media bay into the project window, and you can also drag audio from the project window straight down into the sampler track, which is neat because instantly you can start playing around with it. I'll mute the original track and just hit play. Down on the piano scroll, you can see the pitch that has been detected for this sample. One of the first things you'd want to do is change the sample start and end points, which is also super easy. And I can put a fade in and a fade out on that sample as well. More importantly, I can instantly change the envelope. Just moving the volume up, which of course I could do in the actual sampler track as well. Holy moly, there's Bezier curves. Yep, right there in the sampler track inside of Cubase. Now let's start messing around with these filters. Now, if you're kind of new to the filter game, well, there's different types of filters, but the key thing to remember is, of course, that filters are removing frequencies. Now, the resonance is boosting the frequency of the cutoff, so you always need to control this because you can get some pretty unruly sounds if you boost the resonance at the wrong frequency. Over on the left-hand side, we've got the audio warp feature. Straight away, the sample will get faster the higher you go or slower the lower you go. So you can use the audio warp to balance out the time of each note so it's evenly spaced across the keyboard. Transpose it up and I'm putting a glide amount in there. So the notes are gliding into each other. Now I can add an envelope over the top of the filter section. So the envelope is saying when to bring the filter section in, how much, and how long does it stay there for before it's released. This started out as a choir, and in a couple of minutes we've completely manipulated the sound. Let's try something completely different. You'll notice that you can drag a sample straight out of the media bay into the sampler track as well. First up, let's go to the amp section. Now, I've also got a reverb on this tom, but there's a bit of decay on the actual sample itself, so I'm just shortening that. And I'll turn my reverb off. So we've truncated the tom using the envelope section, and now let's play around with the audio warp. This is an individual instrument, so I'm going to select solo. The format changes the resonant quality of the sound. Changing the tempo will also alter the sound because it's making it longer or making it shorter. I still want this tom to sing out a little bit more in more of a melodic fashion, so I'm going to keep messing around with the audio warp and the pitch. Way better. Let's add some distortion. It's always worth having a play around with the format after you've added the filter. The sampler track also contains a number of different loop options. So I'm going to another sample and I'm going to select continuous. Now I need to set my loop by grabbing the end loop point. Now this is not exactly where I want it, but I can still use something like the envelope to even work with this sound as is. Now in continuous, it's playing through once, hitting that loop point and just looping over and over again. But let's try alternate. Now we go to the loop point and we double back and reverse the sample. There's loads more functionality to show you in the sampler track, but one final point for this video is that everything inside the sampler track can be automated. Thanks for taking the time to stop by. Please like the video if you've learned something. Subscribe to our Cubase YouTube channel for plenty more videos on how to be creative with the Cubase sampler track. Catch you there.